All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to the Son.
Silence! Be still!
Behold the power of God.
As Jesus descends from the mountain, he is followed by a massive crowd moving toward the slopes above the Sea of Galilee. A man with leprosy approaches the group. To heal him, Jesus reaches out and physically touches his skin, telling him to be clean. For an ancient observer, this fits the profile of a standard mystic. The healing appears to rely on physical proximity and a tactile transfer of power between the healer and the diseased. To the crowds watching this encounter, Jesus is a powerful but mysterious healer. The underlying logic governing his power remains entirely hidden. This dynamic changes in Capernaum when a Roman centurion approaches Jesus. An outsider from the military elite, he requests help for a paralyzed servant. When Jesus offers to go to the house, the centurion stops him. He claims he is unworthy of a visit, and instead asks Jesus to speak the word only to facilitate the healing. This diagram illustrates the military logic the centurion describes. In a standard chain of command, a superior officer issues a verbal order, and the soldier carries it out. The commander need not be physically present. The centurion applies this framework to the spiritual realm, viewing sickness as a subordinate force. If Jesus holds superior rank, disease must obey his spoken word. This chain of command concept provides the underlying logic for the rest of the narrative. It organizes a series of isolated miracles into a cohesive system of cosmic authority. The events that follow test whether the centurion's military hypothesis actually holds up against physical reality. The servant is healed instantly and from a distance. Within this system, physical touch is irrelevant because the authority resides in the command itself. Later that evening in Peter's house, the pattern continues. The text records that Jesus drove out spirits and healed the sick, specifically with his word. Under this lens, human biology acts as a subordinate. Conditions like fever or paralysis behave like soldiers who return to their posts only when they are verbally ordered to do so. This authority soon extends beyond the human body. While crossing the Sea of Galilee, a violent tempest traps the disciples in their boat. The disciples, many of whom are professional fishermen, are in a state of panic. Jesus, however, remains asleep. When he wakes, he does not perform a weather ritual. He rebukes the winds and the sea, addressing the storm as if he were reprimanding rowdy troops. The weather obeys the command immediately, resulting in a sudden calm that leaves the crew in shock. The event demonstrates that the chain of command is not limited to biology. It exerts absolute dominion over the physical forces of nature. On the other side of the sea, in the country of the Gergesenes, Jesus meets two violent, demon-possessed men living among the tombs. Unlike the disciples, these supernatural entities recognize the hierarchy immediately. They address Jesus by his rank, calling him the Son of God. Recognizing their position at the bottom of the chain, the demons negotiate their own removal, asking to be sent into a nearby herd of swine. Jesus ends the encounter with a single-word command: go. Even the most chaotic elements of the spiritual realm operate under the same strict military submission as the wind and the sea. This established hierarchy places biology, nature, and the supernatural under one singular commander. This level of authority operates outside of standard social conventions, overriding even the most fundamental human obligations. Jesus illustrates this by warning his followers they will have no home, and by commanding one disciple to follow him instead of attending his own father's funeral. This map illustrates the resulting social reversal. The faithful outsider moves to the center of the kingdom, while the traditional heirs who refuse the command are pushed into the outer darkness. The chain of command reorders the world, placing loyalty to the commander above every other earthly tie. There is a final contrast between the subordinates and the spectators. While disease, storms, and demons obey every word, the citizens of the Gergesene city react differently. After seeing the possessed men healed and the swine destroyed, the entire city comes out and begs Jesus to leave their territory. The narrative concludes with a specific observation. When faced with absolute and undeniable authority, the default human response is not submission, but terror.